Okay,
We're back.
take two. Astrology Embodied, a year of inner knowing. This is episode 2, Love, Desire, Relationship Patterns, and I'm Julie Christine, and we're here with Elle. Apparently, we're streaming on YouTube now, but not Facebook. But this is more important than I don't care about Facebook as much.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
We
We're
made it.
leaving there anyways. We're going. We don't need them.
Dang. Well, good times. So, Julie is going to lead this one a lot today. So I'm going to be the background and let her kind of take over and just fill in where needed. But we are going to do all things Venus, love, and attachment styles with different signs and placements, and the moon and the Venus and connecting those two, which is a little different than last month that we did. So. I'm gonna let you kind of run with it, and I'm just gonna be here.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm like looking at the episode thing right now. All right. So in this episode, Elle and Julie will be covering how astrology explains attachments, attractions, and emotional needs, the Venus and Moon basics, elements in relationships of fire, earth, air, and water, and common relationship patterns shown in charts, and self love focus and self love spells, which are my absolute favorites. Okay, so let's talk about the first thing, how astrology explains attachments, attractions, and emotional need. This part I'm gonna need your magic.
Absolutely, I got you.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, obviously, your moon is how you handle things emotionally, and your Venus is how you love and accept love. And so a lot of times, it's obvious that those things go hand in hand, your emotional needs along with your um, relationship needs and how you love and how you receive love. And so Venus, depending on what your Venus is in, a lot of times will explain your love language. I have found that fire signs, especially um, like when you have your Venus in a fire sign, typically your love language is, sorry, I'm totally lost the one that I'm looking for. Touch. It's the touch one. They like affection, and they also like words of affirmation, but typically like touch is the one that comes first.
For a fire?
For fire, yeah, because
Okay.
they are affectionate, they're passionate, and they're behind that is like the touch, the being close, the closeness. Do you not have you
Okay.
not noticed that? What is that up in
I
your
guess
experience?
I'm gonna have to look now that I've never really thought about like Venuses by the elements. Well, kind of, in a way I'm like, oh, obviously Venus Taurus is like cuddly, like probably want to stay inside, like
Also, want
in
to
a
know what's in
cozy
your bank
blanket.
account.
Know that
It's
the bills
fine.
are
This
paid.
adjustment.
Yeah. The
Exactly.
snacks are good.
Stability. Yes. They're very sensual beings.
Yeah.
So, okay, and
But
that
yeah, I
goes
never
into
thought
the
about
next
that.
one. Yeah, so if you think of it in terms of the element, so fire signs typically there's passion, there's drive, and a lot of times that does entail like touching or closeness, things like that. Um, fire and earth, I think are just very different when it comes to like what their Venus is in. So an earth sign is like acts of love, like acts. Thank you. Sorry, we're also going to have a special guest. This is Salem. Oh, hey, it's a
Hi.
puppy. He can help you. Sorry. So when you have a Venus Earth, the things people do for you and the way that you show love is by doing for them. That is just what I have found to be so accurate in any of the Venuses in any sort of Earth sign. And then air signs, we love words of affirmation. We love to hear how much you love us or how pretty we are. Libras out there, we love it. And so it is just all things words and that mental stimulation and all of that. And then water is also, I would say, emotional, like that touch and that would be kind of their love language, but also a lot of times, what is the other one that I'm not thinking of?
Air?
No, the love languages. There's touch, words
Oh,
of affirmation,
acts of service,
acts of service.
quality time.
Quality time. That is the one that is water signs. That's what I was looking for. Like quality
Mm,
time is something, and also physical touch, but a lot of quality time. The time that they spend with you, they're emotional bonders. They love to bond over emotions and like depth. you think of like Scorpio. They love to dive into the deep, dark, all the things. But if you think of like a Cancer or Pisces, Pisces is a little dark too, but they just the time spent bonding and creating that like bond and trust with someone is very important to them. So
Mm.
anytime I see someone that's asking me about love advice, I will go to their Venus and kind of see their attachment style and kind of gauge that with the moon. So if someone has a, let's say they have a, what is the one that I'm thinking of? Say they have an Aries Venus and a Capricorn moon. You think
Hmm.
of that in terms of like, hi, sweetie. Hey, go see Papa, okay? Over there, mommy's working. And so those two signs are very different. The sorry, hold on. Go see Papa. Go see Papa.
We're authentic here. It's real life.
I normally have a different setup, guys, but I just moved and I don't have any setup but my dining room, and so that's why I have these on and a toddler. So
We're making it work. And she
um,
has the flu, you guys. So
I'm here. I'm here for
we're
it.
grateful. We're grateful.
I know. I'm like, if I sound stuffy or weird, just know.
No, you're great.
Uh, So yeah, if you were to have a Venus, a Leo Venus, and say a Capricorn moon, you would kind of shake that up a little differently. You wouldn't say, I wouldn't look at this person and say, oh, they really love affection and being touched, because that Capricorn moon is going to bring a different flavor to that Leo Venus, and they, or not Leo, Aries. I said Aries. I said Aries specifically because they square. Let's say it's a 15 degrees Aries Venus and a 15 degrees Capricorn moon. So there's a true square there. And those two things are not going to align. Like what they emotionally want and what they value and need in a relationship are pretty different. They need stability and consistency, and like they see through the bullshit with the moon and Capricorn. And then their Aries Venus wants like passion and fun and all this stuff that's igniting and just, touch and passion again. I don't know. That's the biggest one that's coming to my mind, but it's it's challenging. Whereas if you were to have an Aries Venus and say a like Leo moon, they're very similar in what their wants are and their emotional needs, or even a Sagittarius moon, possibly even a Libra moon. Those connect really well. Um, I have a Taurus moon and a Virgo Venus, and food and acts of service, all I need. My husband knows, like he cooks for me all the time, doing all the
The
meals,
best.
meal prep, whatever. I know, and that is like everything I need. And so, um, where his is a little different. His moon is Libra and his Venus is in Taurus. Still this like, you know, they love beauty and they're both ruled by Venus, which is nice, but they're very different. Libra and Taurus are very different. And so when you look at a relationship and how you are emotionally, what you need emotionally, and what you need out of a relationship, a lot of times you can tie that connection into your moon and your Venus. And when you find yourself constantly in a struggle, like I keep starting these relationships and thinking this is it, or thinking I want this, but then I get that and I want this, like maybe look at really what's happening in between those two signs, because that can really shift your mood or your energy, depending on where the moon is in the sky. Your moon may be activated differently, and then it just triggers stuff in your Venus, depending on if there's any aspect there. So
Mm.
definitely keep that in mind, and do a little test. Anytime you look at people and their Venuses, really check in with what their love language is, because 9 times out of 10, it's exactly the
Mm.
air, the fire, the earth, and the water. They have very specific, unless they just have like a really crazy chart, typically not the case. But your Venus is in
Capricorn.
Capricorn. So
It's a joy.
definitely, it's a joy. So romantic.
I think it might be the least romantic Venus
I
placement for
know.
sure. It's so sad.
I don't know. I think I might have you beat with Virgo.
Oh, that's true. You win. Virgo's stick in the
I
butt. Venus,
win.
not fun.
It's true. Stick up ass. God. And critical. Oh my
Oh
God.
my
So
gosh.
critical. In my younger days, I literally broke up with a guy because I was like, I think he has a receding hairline. Like, I don't see it yet, but I think it's almost there. I can't do this. No, actually, I think the craziest was when I broke up with a guy for not buying a chair because he wouldn't buy a chair to sit closer. He's like, no, I'm going to save my money. It was like a $7 chair. And I was like, you're not going to spend $7 to sit closer. You're going to sit on the bleachers. I can't do this. So, Virgo Venus is hard. I just want you guys to know.
That's rough. I could say I was like piggybacking off that Virgo Capricorn. I definitely got the ick when a guy brought home the wrong type of soup from what I had directed that, and I was like, oh, he's not a good listener. There's already other red flags, but it was like that was the moment where I was like,
This
yep.
isn't going to work. Yeah.
Capricorn's just critical too, yeah, but I get it. It's not great. I
Would you
do.
say that your love language is acts of service?
Oh, absolutely. My partner is
Okay.
a perfect. He like brings me food and coffee and drinks and makes sure that I'm nourished and fills my
Oh,
cup
see,
constantly. Yeah. I'm
I
very
love that.
lucky. Yeah.
Yes, but that's your love language is acts of
He
service. And
cleaned
it's
my
like,
house one day and organized everything in neat piles when I came home and I was like, this was more romantic than the engagement I had, which was
seriously,
over chips and salsa at Chili's, by the way, but
it
that's a
wasn't
story
on
for a
the
cocktail
top,
and we're
but
not drinking.
oh my God, I love that. That's hilarious. What is his
Oh,
Venus in?
I think it's Aquarius. I have to look.
So his is going to be like stimulation of like intellectual, like
Mm,
conversations and, that sort of thing. Words
mm,
of affirmation are probably really big for him. What you say to him
mhm,
and how you express your love for him in a verbal way, very important if he is an
mhm,
Aquarius, which I feel like he was. I've done his chart before.
mhm.
So, which is
Big
beautiful
call.
for a Capricorn Venus and an Aquarius Venus relationship because you both
Hmm.
have different
Aquarius,
needs
yeah.
and you both can show up in different ways.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
plus the Gemini moon in there. So it's all the good talks of intellectual
yes.
communication. Yeah.
Yeah, and that Gemini moon with the Aquarius and his chart specifically, those two, what he needs moon wise, I mean, he's not a super emotional person. It's more logic. He's more logic based, the thought and the thinking. And then his Venus is, also something that kind of plays into that logical, like Aquarius, their energy is very much thinking and logic and
Mm,
processing. And it's not so much on an emotional level. Not that he doesn't have an emotional side. It's just
mm,
he's probably more of a logical person than an emotional person.
Mars in Cancer, 26 degrees.
Oh, okay. Wow. I take everything
Mm,
back I just said.
mm.
That makes
I
him
was like,
way more
mm,
of a feeler and more
mm.
intuitive. But that's just how
Yeah.
amazing astrology is you can have like me saying, oh, well, he's probably this. And then you say one thing and I'm like, oh, just kidding. Disregard.
Yeah, I change like it's just they're all little tiny webs that weave a beautiful bigger picture, and that's what's such a
Hmm.
fun. Yeah, it's cool to learn.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's a polarity for you, for your son. So
yeah,
that gives you guys a nice little dynamic.
I agree. Okay, where are we at?
So we just went through Venus and the
Moon,
moon. Yeah.
and we kind of talked about elements in relationships, the fire, air, earth, and water.
Hmm.
Okay, common relational patterns shown in chart. What does that mean?
So a lot of times, this would be probably for more of a challenging aspect. So if you had, like I used that Aries Venus and that Capricorn moon. So a lot of times searching for what you're wanting, this can end up being like a pattern that you may not recognize, especially in like your younger years of like, I'm searching for this, I'm emotionally looking for this, I need this, like whatever that is. And depending on if you have an easy flow placement, it could be that you don't really possess those patterns, but a lot of us, there's a lot of things in our chart that kind of the aspect square and where sometimes some Neptune might be in there causing a little confusion. But a lot of times through people's involvement and depending on, like I would say an Aries Capricorn, duo, even though they square. I think this is a very promising placement for someone who can evolve and see for what it is. Now, if
Mm.
it were maybe like Pisces and a Libra, which they don't really square each other, so maybe like a Pisces and a Gemini, it may not be as easy for this that sign placement to evolve and see the pattern recognition. They would be more like, why does this keep happening to me when they're like 65?
Mm.
Like, girl, if you have a
Yeah.
pattern, it's this.
Pattern is
You know what
pattern.
yes, so
Mercury
keep in
told you.
mind, we tried to tell you. But yeah, so I think really a lot of times when you see those people that like figure things out young and they're like, oh, I recognize this. Just people that are quick with it. Like I said, that Aries Capricorn was a really probably good first example because that would be one that I'd be like, yeah, because Capricorns, it's hard to get anything by them. And Aries, they kind of call people out on their bullshit. And they have some weird witchy
Hmm.
intuition going on. So I would say that's a good duo. But yeah, Pisces and the um, Gemini, more of a struggle. And then because you think of it, Pisces internalizes and is in a fantasy world, and Gemini is external and
Mm.
kind of aloof in their own way.
And
And
I
plus,
kind
they're
of seen
split up.
them to be chaotic in their both their own
They
ways.
are, they are
Yeah.
in very different ways,
Yeah,
but they
yeah,
are very
yeah.
chaotic. Yes, I had a girlfriend that was a Gemini sun, Pisces moon, and she had this external internal conflict of like all the things, the Gemini twins, the Pisces, the two fish, like she was a mess, and a Virgo rising on top of all of it. And she is just, I mean, the hottest mess I've ever seen. And
Mm.
yeah, I could go
Yeah,
on
because
and
that's
on about
third
it.
house, 12th house, right? Because I was like, man, it's not even like polarities of like opposites. It's like
No,
so different that it's like this. And I'm like, oh yeah, third house, 12th house.
yeah, no,
That
it's
makes a lot of sense for the first time ever.
like I get it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I mean by patterns. And there's certain placements, and the moon and Venus can be because Venus is so tied to your love life, and the moon is so tied to your emotions that having a good placement, or even, I mean, Aries and Capricorn, it's not necessarily like a easy placement, it's a square, but it does bring this like practical clarity that helps you break patterns and evolve a little faster than other signs. So
Hmm. Cool.
that's kind of where I was going with that. I don't
I
know
like
why I
it.
felt the need to touch on that, but I feel like patterns are a big deal for all of us. And I mean, I catch
Yeah.
myself doing the same thing over and over, and I'm like, I gotta stop this. I'm 40.
That's literally the whole point. If you're into astrology, you're into patterns. Otherwise, astrology
Yeah,
probably doesn't make sense to you or it's not a vibe for you. But like if you're really into pattern recognition, astrology might be something to look
might be for
into.
you.
There might be
Yes.
something there.
If you study psychology or anything
Mhm.
around that area, then you should probably
Yeah.
look into it.
Yeah.
My therapist and I will go on a whole astrology tangent for like half my session sometimes, and I'm like so there for it.
I had a therapist like that, and then we switched to like
Oh,
provider things. And I'm like, man, I used to have the best witchy therapist. I could talk to her about
well,
the
I think,
moon and Mercury retrograde. It
oh my gosh. Well, my girl's in
was the
Mexico,
best.
so if you want her number,
Maybe, yes.
yes.
Everybody needs a good therapist right now.
Yes,
Ugh.
absolutely. All right. And then I did write down some examples about the moons. So the moon and fire needing excitement. We've kind of like touched on that a little bit, but I did want to just add some examples here. Moon and fire just needing excitement, that rush, that like they kind of have this zest for life and they're just on fire for all things. A moon and earth needs stability. A moon and air needs conversation, and a moon and water needs emotional depth. So, did you hear that?
Yeah.
Get off the window.
So cute.
I don't know who. She has the raspiest, I don't know if you can tell, she has the raspiest
It's so
Amy
cute.
Winehouse voice in the world.
It's so
It's
cute.
my favorite. All right,
Okay,
what's
where
next
were
on your
we?
list?
Next on the list. Oh, self-love focus and self-love spells,
Mm,
which is my
do you want to touch on
jam.
that one? Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
so I was
yeah, you
gonna
got this.
ask you. So let's say, for example, I'm trying to see like how Venus shows up in self-love for yourself. So my Venus sits in Capricorn, right? So how would that show up for self-love for me?
It's kind of harsh. I mean, there is a with Capricorns, I feel like they're overachievers, and a lot of times you may be hard on yourself to feel like you're not doing enough, or you didn't do enough when you were a certain age, or constantly trying to work through, you know, being better, always being better, not so much perfectionist style, but more of just like being step ahead of yourself. And so I think that a lot of times Capricorn Venuses are really hard, self-love. But when they find it, and they're like, fuck the world. You don't like me? Yeah, you can just fuck right off because that is true Capricorn energy. Once they embody that, like love, that is where it's at. So, and then, Virgo, it's a little different. It's more of like, I love myself, so now I'm going to spread that love through the earth, and it goes really earthy. And that's
Mm.
not always the case. Virgo can be self-love and stop being so critical of self because Virgos are so critical and so demanding on like their routine and how they need to dress and how they need to show up. And um, those are just things that a Virgo Venus would struggle with self-love. And then I'm just going to stay on the earths and then I'll move over. Taurus, a lot of times, Taurus, I've seen like a Taurus Venus being very indulgent. Security
Mm.
is like a lot of times through like generally food. There's like that safety,
Mm.
that comfort, especially like comfort food. And so not that that would be something that would you shouldn't like love yourself for if you tend to intake a lot of food, but a lot of times they tend to be harsh on themselves. But I've also seen that go in the complete other direction. A lot of Taurus Venuses that I know are can be so strict with their routine in terms of like fitness to where they're like obsessed with it. I've seen it go kind of either way. Like they eat a lot and maybe they don't do a lot, or they're
Imbalances
so
are wild on those.
yeah. So that one I've seen kind of go both ways. And then moving into the air signs, Gemini, Venus, they need to be creative and they have to find that and this is going to be for all of the, not really all, I would say Gemini and Aquarius, they tend to be different. And I think that all through their life they feel different. And then they hit this point where they're like, it's okay, it's actually really cool to be different. And they see that in themselves. And that's kind of how they find their self-love. I almost said true love. True love with self. Um,
Yeah, it is.
so yeah, I think that when they really tap into like their uniqueness is so special and not everyone has that. And when they find that, that's when they really uncover self-love. And then Libra, kind of
Mm.
the same. I think Libra's always just gonna a Libra Venus always loves themselves from day
I was
one.
gonna say a mirror is fine as a gift.
Hmm. Yes, that's really all they need, let's be honest. So vain little creatures.
So
But
funny.
and so moving into I did air and earth. So water. So in terms of like water is probably one of some of the harder ones to find self-love
Oh,
because there's so much emotional depth behind what's going on in their Venus. In terms of like Cancer, a Cancer Venus, something that would really help them, I think. You see those women that they seem to be pretty lost their entire life, but it's like once they get married and have kids, they like flourish and you're like, wow, like you were meant to be a mom and you should have been a mom a lot sooner because this
mm-hmm.
really works for you. I think of
Mm-hmm.
Cancer, Venus has those terms because them being mothers, either to their husband or to children or having someone to mother really brings out that like
Mm.
quality in them that they feel like I'm meeting. And I don't know, let's think. Would that be considered self-love or self-abandonment? I don't know. I think that
Mm.
there's a piece of it that's fulfilling for them and makes them feel good to nurture and be a mom.
Mm.
Pisces, Venus, again, I think that there's a huge family relation with that, but I also think there's a lot of spirituality with that. I think that for Pisces Venus to really love themselves, they have to understand, like I always say this, but Pisces sometimes they're like from another world and they just don't feel like they belong here. And I think once they realize, like, you're obviously here, you're meant to be here in this life. Like it may feel weird or foreign because you're tapped into some real shit that's, out there, but you're here. You're here and you're now, here now. So, I think once they accept that and think like I should be here, it's they can hone in and create. They're beautiful artists. They're creative
Mhm.
and they generally have really cool artistic abilities, whether that's like art and drawing or singing or dancing, whatever. They're just very talented. And so I think self-love is when they really let go of that I'm not meant to be here energy and embrace whatever their creativity outlet is. And
Mhm.
hopefully it's not substance. Always like,
Oh, yeah.
please don't do drugs. It's dangerous for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
Pisces and
it's a
Scorpios.
scary thing. Scorpios, you guys should not. And that brings me to the next one, Scorpio Venus.
Yeah, I've been dying to know about Scorpio self-love.
Oh man, sacrificing humans. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe not. But Scorpios,
Too soon.
there's a
Too soon.
too soon. I know. I know that used to be like a joke and it was kind of funny, and now I'm like, I don't even watch the news, but now I am a little bit aware of things, and I'm just like, I can't say that and joke about it anymore
Mm-mm.
because now it's
Mm-mm.
uncomfortable. So, but Scorpios, definitely have to take a deep dive into accepting their dark side. One second. Accepting their dark side. I know, she's third, guys. Um, and embracing it and allowing it to be part of them and not feeling the guilt of it. Like a lot of people, we all have light and darkness, but a lot of people get so wound up with like the darkness that's in them that they think like, you know, I'm not good or, whatever. I think when you learn how to channel that and you find a way to embrace it and accept that it's part of you, which is a huge deal. Like we all have it. Some show up more than others, but I think Scorpios keep theirs pretty hidden. You probably wouldn't know the thoughts, the depths of the darkness that's happening there. And so once they accept that and can appreciate it and not use it for evil, I
Mm-hmm.
think there's self-love behind that. Some
Yeah.
easy. And
Yeah.
then water, earth. Did I do all? Is that all the elements? Did I do
I think
fire?
so. Fire? Yeah. Wait,
Maybe.
Aries? Aries
No,
self-love?
I didn't do fire. No,
Okay.
yeah. So
I was like,
let's
wait.
do fire. I'm like, we
This is
started
why
with
we
earth.
need slides.
I know. I know. And sometimes I'm just like, did I already talk about this? But okay, so the fire signs, because I know that they're probably like, why did she do us last? We've been waiting to know, because fire is impatient, and that's okay. That's part of self-love is learning how to breathe and be patient. So an Aries Venus, I would definitely say is to find for self-love. Um, Let me think about that for a second. The art of finding self-love is accepting yourself, and I think that Aries is pretty bold and pretty confident in most of their day-to-day. However, learning that everything may not go your way and how you want it to, there's that fire that's an emotion, and there's this like anger kind of behind it when things aren't right and just in their world. That I think that when they kind of balance out that, like you think of like Libra energy and Aries, they're polarities. Once they can kind of get to that balance of like calmness and chill and balance and not so headstrong and accept a lot of things how they are and can like bring themselves down, I think they can find self-love in just that aspect alone of thinking like it's not the end of the world. It's not, I don't have to have everything figured out and managing everything and running everything and in charge of everything. I know not a lot of, I know a few Aries and a few Aries Venus particularly that want to control in terms of like running things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that for self-love, that's very
Bossy.
important to bossy, except that you don't have to be the boss, that you can relax and someone else can be the boss and you be fine with that. And you can love yourself for giving up that need for that control and just accepting yourself. Like,
Mm.
I don't have to be the boss. That was a good word. I needed that boss
Yeah, I got you.
word.
That's why
Leo.
we're a team.
Yes. Leo. So if you have a Leo Venus, finding self-love, I know we give Leo a lot of shit for like being arrogant and, you know, horrible.
I
But
love a Leo Venus though.
yeah, they're very affectionate and there's love there and there's like
There
kindness. But
is.
yeah, and Leo women, that was not directed towards you. It's generally the men that
Eh.
Julie and I struggle with. But we are all human and we all have different things in our signs and different houses and planets. So it's fine. So I would definitely say that Leos seem more confident than they are sometimes.
Hmm.
Not saying that it's always a front, but I think that they've been so consistent their whole life at showing confidence that
Hmm.
in those moments of not feeling confident but putting on the face, I think that
Mm.
when they can show some vulnerability and say, I don't feel confident in that, or I'm not the star of the show, or I'm
Hmm.
not, and accepting that and being okay with that is a true sign of like
Yeah.
self-love in Leo terms.
That makes a lot of sense though. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because people are like, oh, they're so cocky and they're ruled by the sun and they want to be in the spotlight, which they do. I'm not denying any of that. But I've seen so many Leos that are confident, but like if you get to know them, there's a huge insecurity a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
times.
Yeah.
So that confidence
You're
and that
confident
ego is
until
hiding
that
something.
it throws you off your rocker and then you have to like get it back. Like you have to you have to hold the reins of that because it's not something you harness easily. As a Leo
Yeah.
rising, I can say that part because I mask a lot as a neurodivergent female.
Uh-huh.
So I have to like
Seriously.
put on my mask, pull on the reins of what is the difference between like confidence and just being like a bitch.
Hey, and that works too. I mean, the two Leos that I knew, so when I lived in Utah, when we had the earthquake, the big one
Hmm.
in 2020, the two Leos that I knew, because it was something I don't know if it's like that cat energy and the shaky ground, I don't know, but they were freaked. They were like, I don't know, did you feel a lot of freakness of the earthquake? Like, I mean, COVID was happening too, and I don't know. I don't feel like yours is that strong in your chart, but
Like, I don't know. Yeah, because I had a lot of like the apartments across from me set on fire. Like, there was a lot of other things that happened in my life that week. It was a, yeah,
yeah, that sounds like a lot. I don't
it
know. I just think
was.
that when they can't control it and they can't seem confident and they're really scared, they're like really scared. So I think
Yeah,
overcoming that and working through that is
yeah.
a self-love thing.
I think that's why
And
they made the
then
lion and Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz the cowardly lion.
the cowardly lion, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay, valid. And then Sagittarius Venus, for self-love. I mean, Sagittarius are so optimistic.
always fun.
Always. I know. I love a good Sag. And so I think a lot of times when I think of like Sagittarius Venus, I think understanding that uh, less is more.
Mm.
Like there's so much going on. They want to do this, they want to do that. They've got this, and they're excited about that.
They're
You're like,
Tasmanian
oh,
devils.
yes, they've got all these things, and they're with this person, and then they're like, oh, I'm interested in this or whatever. There's just so much going on there that the moment that they can just like be one and just center and have one thing at a time and be calm and cool with that, I think that's a true, because they're not like
Hmm.
racking their brains keeping themselves so busy because they're mentally other places and not like bringing themselves to and like acknowledging what could be going on internally.
Mm.
So I would say the
Hmm.
moment that they can slow down and just take a hike, because they love to hike, just take a hike.
I'm
That
gonna
that's
make my
self-love.
boyfriend watch this whole episode for that.
Just
It's
take a
been the
hike.
theme of the week. I was like, the weather is so nice.
Yes, tell them to take a hike. Yeah,
Sagittarius.
that is
Love
the
it.
self-love through all the signs. I didn't go into the houses because I think I confuse the hell out of people when I'm like, oh, this and this house and this. And then they're like, wait, what's my house in? And by the time they get to it, looking at their chart and what house their Venus is in, I've already gone on to something else. And so
Yeah.
rewind.
Yeah. Rewind. Well, yeah, no, I think this is perfect. We can open it up for questions if anyone has any questions about Venus and the moon or where any of that sits in your chart. And while we're doing that, we can talk about like some self-love spells.
Hmm.
Okay, so a couple different ones. I love self-love spells. So one is just like basically, I believe if you're coming into astrology and you don't believe in magic, that's totally okay. I like to bridge the worlds. I believe that everything done with intention is magic. And so to me, even buying something like buying yourself flowers is obviously a little Miley Cyrus and pretty on the nose, like the simplest thing. But what do you do with those flowers afterwards? So I personally, when I buy myself flowers, I like to take the rose petals and I'll either double pot them and make my own rose water for my own like self-love spray. I don't do love potions for other people to love me. I don't really care what other people think about me or I mean, I do because I'm vain, but not
A
about me.
Capricorn Venus, well evolved energy, folks. Here we are. I really
I
don't
don't
care if
really
you like me.
care. I don't really care if you like me or not. I have things to do. But the self-love spells work. Another way to do it is also drying your rose petals and crumbling up. I like to use them in burning spells, like in like either a cauldron or if you do candle magic, you can just hold a spell like a pink candle on a full moon in Libra and
Mm,
just imagine like the white and pink light energy being in your bubble and holding that candle in there. You can even go as far as like writing your name, a sigil, some like the words that you want to call in or a goddess energy or whatever. Write what you want on your candle. Everything with intention is magic. Sometimes you can take the oil that you've charged in the moon and roll your candle in the oil and then in your dried leaves. So then you can put it on there. I caution,
I thought you were gonna say,
don't
and then
roll.
roll a joint.
I mean,
I'm like,
yo,
no.
if you're part of that, absolutely. If that's your vibe, it is self-love. But I would highly suggest a word of caution. Do not roll your candle in oil and then cinnamon. That is a firecracker and your plate will explode. So
Fun fact.
just, yeah, just, I mean, I don't know if I don't know a witch that hasn't like broke a plate or lit something on fire at something.
At some point through your practice, you're going to catch something on fire and break a
Yeah.
plate. So don't
Yeah.
use your fine china.
Don't use your fine
And
china and also don't leave a flame unattended is one of my personal rules.
yeah, I remember my first plate break. I was like, that must mean this is the tower card. This
Right?
is bad. I think
It's
I was
kind of
like
scary.
20. Yeah, it's terrifying
Yeah.
when you break a plate and you're like literally just putting your whole heart and your intentions into whatever spell you're doing and the plate breaks. You're like, and I mean, I was doing this spell work before you could like really Google what that meant. I probably would have got flagged for something. I was like 20. And so, yeah, I remember being like, well, what the fuck does that mean? And I was like, is that bad? Like, I really was like, it's got to be in the tower. So then I have to do like a whole tarot pool on like a plate breaking. And yeah, and because my energy was already like negative about it, like, oh my gosh, it
Yeah.
broke. It's bad. I was pulling every negative card. Like, I think it's the
That's
Seven of
crazy.
Swords and all the things.
Wow.
So just know it doesn't have to
Wow.
mean anything bad. It could just mean that there's a lot of energy and what you're putting into it. So if something like that does happen, you do catch something on fire. Hopefully it's minimal. And Utah, be very careful. It's very dry there. Um,
Always
we
keep
should
a
probably get a
fire.
warning on this episode, a
Yeah.
hose. But yeah, so just know that in your magic practice, those things are gonna happen.
Things can energy is just weird and so I personally I know there's different witches that are like maybe like if you can't stay for the whole candle on you have to like leave. Some people will put the pause on the energy, blow it out, and then come back, open the container again,
Hmm.
relight the candle. Other people will just wait. Other people leave it. Everybody's different, but for me, I don't. I like things done a certain sort of way. So the candle's one sort of self-love spell. There's also some other ones of just like holding your heart and holding your like solar plexus and just sitting in gratitude in your own energy and like thinking of some really like actual like what are the things that you like about yourself? Like I like how I do this and like I like how I feel when I do this. Like you just play around and see how it feels when you say these things and maybe try saying them out loud and see how it feels. Does it feel like truth to you? Are you lying to yourself that you love yourself? Like like ask yourself some questions, you know? Um and
Sometimes
be
writing
honest
that
with
down
yourself.
too, writing
Yeah.
down something like that's bothering you, just writing it down, and then it goes into like, but why? But why? But why? I've literally gotten to like the end of mine one time because I don't love myself. And I'm like, and I mean,
Oof.
that's a little like therapy, whatever, but it's also like if you really look at magic and how you practice, it's checking in with yourself, checking in with true self energy. And
Mm.
sometimes you get to the bottom of it and you're like, I'm neglecting myself. I'm
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
channeling my true self energy. So,
Or even like neglecting parts of yourself. Like sometimes we forget that there's all these different aspects to ourselves and these darker shadow parts of ourselves. And radical self acceptance is like the beginning of like self love. And if you can't love all the parts of yourself, then how do you want other people to love them too? And I think that's always so interesting when we watch episodes like Love is Blind and things, and some broken people coming on to find someone to love them, but they don't even love themselves. And so it's like, it's hard, it's a hard sell when you don't even like the thing that you're selling. So
yeah,
if you're looking to be in a relationship, I do highly recommend sitting with yourself and figuring it out. But it isn't about changing any of the parts about you. And then I think that's the part where people really like struggle. They're like, "Oh, I have to change to be this person." And that's like truly not the case. Like there's different I don't want to
it's
use
acceptance, not
anything
change.
that yeah, exactly. Like exactly. There's like parts of us that like for example, like a funny laugh or facial expressions. Like I will say that I was a target of a weird cyberbully thing this week, and my weird facial expressions went viral with 6 million views of me feeling frustrated with my eyes all crazy. And as a person who's vain, that was crazy. But also, I was like, you know what? I love myself. And I took back my energy from that thing. And that's part of like what this
Good.
is how it's part of the magic in all of this, you know?
Yeah.
But
No,
also,
and
you
you
have to
have
feel
to
sorry for
be that
anybody
way.
that messes with people like us.
Oh, yeah, because it's
I'm
really, but
sorry.
also, I also, without even that aspect of it, it's more of like, I feel sorry for anyone who takes the time to just like make fun of someone else. It's wild. Like, you have the
The
most
world
time on
is
your hands
falling apart. The world
and
is
you're worried about a
falling
face.
apart. And you have 18 billion views and you're not catching pedophiles with your group of people, then you're on the wrong side of history and I don't want nothing to do with you. Take my face off your platform.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's wild.
Mm, yeah. But coming back to self-love, that almost like
That's
if
a true
I'm a
act.
pretty strong person and that kind of thing is meant to attack people who aren't strong. And I wasn't necessarily in the best place, but if I had been in a worse place, that could have been one of those detrimental things. But that's why self-love is so important. So when attacks come and things come from out of that you did not see coming, you're not going to be swayed. You have those deep roots of like, shit,
You're
I know
like,
who the
thanks for
fuck
the
I am.
views.
Yeah, exactly. I know who I am. I know how I treat people. I know how I show up for my community. I know how, like, I know who I am. And so there's nothing that will be able to sway anybody's opinion about me. And that's self-love, period. It's not, I'm not bragging. I'm not, I have nothing to, I don't need, I don't know how to explain it.
No, I think
Just
you
love
handled it
yourself.
very, yeah, great. And it was all self-love. Like you love yourself, then you really don't give a fuck, which
Yeah, it
is
gives you a
where we all should
confidence
be.
that is also humbling. Like I like there some people have called me arrogant. There's definitely aspects that come across when I'm feeling like in my full Leo rising confidence, you know, but that's also my work that I've done with my shadows and my self-love aspects too. But, you know, there
Yeah.
is also a difference between arrogance and confidence. And I will say that usually if I'm in a good space, I'm confident and that does come from that self-love.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another really beautiful spell work to do for self-love is mirror magic. And mirror magic, eye gazing with yourself, and literally falling in love with yourself. It's a
I like to do
powerful
that
one.
with a soft light.
Yeah, also
So
be kind. Candles are cool.
candles are great, great lighting. And I don't say that with anything because here's what happens if you have really good lighting and you're doing that. You're like, are my pores really that big?
The
Like,
next thing you know, you've
that's the
plucked
only
your
reason I say
eyebrows.
that. I know.
Yeah,
So I
you
get a
missed the
full on like
point.
full face regimen. Yeah, you've missed the point. So I
Yeah.
say soft lighting because it really does. It has a glow to it, and it does like illuminate you in a way of like, oh, I'm beautiful, and not that you're not beautiful with big
Everybody looks
pores
good in soft
at
light.
any means. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
saying, soft light. I found it to be easier to do that.
yep, I agree. And also, bubble baths are also a great self-love, especially if you're taking your rose petals that you bought for yourself and putting them in your water with oils and crystals. And pink quartz is a beautiful self-love crystal. We love pink
Yes.
quartz.
And it's
Amethyst, I
beauty
think, is
and
pretty.
all things. Yeah, amethyst is good too. Pink quartz is perfect for beauty and all those things as well. So I always really like having those. I sleep with one by my, I used to actually, I don't know where it's at now, but I'm saying that. We moved, so I'm like, I think it
Oh
might be
yeah.
under my altar, but anyways, it's good to have that next to your head at night when you sleep, just that energy of like feeling good, love, and all of that. Even if you're romantic or not, but just having a partner sometimes, having the quartz in that your general sleeping area can attract that love and
Hmm.
is good for those sort of things as well. So on top
Yeah,
of your protection stones and obsidian and onyx and things like that. So
all of them. Yeah, absolutely. Those are all good ones. I'm trying to think what else. Always journaling. I always liked like the whole
mhm.
cyclical style of like releasing things that you maybe are tired of repeating, like patterns, not like things like, oh, I hate my nose, I'm gonna burn in the like be real, be
Oh,
so for real.
I'll give you a good one. I'll give you a really good one. So my last cord cutting. So for those of you who do not know what a cord cutting is, you take two candles, you put a cord, you light the candles, you let it burn. It's a release of an attachment. It can be an attachment to anything. It can be someone. It's not anything harmful to that person. It is you internally detaching from a situation. For me, I was having a lot of insecurities about things in my life, and I was having to struggle with like this old version of myself that I couldn't like let go of. I couldn't get over things. I was constantly like in my head about things. And so I did a cord cutting, and one piece was like me now, and what I was releasing was this insecurity of a part of me that I wanted to release. And I did the cord cutting. It was so beautiful. I really have felt
Mm,
so much better since. And so that one is one of my favorite go-tos. Whether it's a person that you can't get out of your mind, I use this one a lot for like my girlfriends that are like, they're infatuated with some guy that it's pretty new and whatever, and I'm just like, do a cord cutting. If you've been together longer, it's not something I would recommend. Like if you've been married to someone for 20 years, I wouldn't recommend a cord cutting because there's so much more depth to that than just burning a candle and expecting that
mhm.
connection or that attachment to go away. So I have a little more of an in-depth thing that I do for that, but it's a series and over time, and I'll share one day.
I like it. Well, now we have a safe space to do that, so we're getting there.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yay.
absolutely. And then I think
Okay.
next month we are going to have Gigi on if she will allow us. We were going to have her on this one, but we did have to reschedule due to my move. And so I think we kind of hit her at a last minute thing. But for those of you, Gigi, this is one of our amazing listeners who's just so divine and so amazing. So hopefully on our next live, she'll pop up and you
Yeah.
guys will get to meet her amazing energy.
And you don't have to look at our faces every time.
Yeah,
Not that we're not beautiful, but
absolutely.
oh
Can you
my
say
gosh, so
hi?
cute.
Can you say thanks for watching?
So cute.
You're looking at Julie.
Um, Alan's here. He wants to know, is there any good news for
Hi,
a
Ellen.
Virgo?
Virgos. Just Virgo suns, Virgo moon. I know you're a Virgo sun, but what do you have? What else do you have in Virgo?
Hmm. Um,
Oh,
Tanae
hey,
says
Sarah.
hi.
Tana's my Pisces love. I've known her for so long. She's such a sweet,
Cute.
like sweet Pisces girl.
The unknown philosopher has a large statue of Venus in his front yard. She
She
greets
says the
all of
mountains
the planets and
piece.
the moons. That's so cool.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Okay, so for everyone watching, I think that's pretty much everything that we have for this session.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little maintenance. We have been upping up our Patreon. Down below, you can find the link. You'll be able to find other classes. This is a warning. All of the astrology classes that Elle and I have done could possibly be leaving this platform to go somewhere else. And I have warned before, eventually, some of those could end up behind a paywall. So if you're into astrology, I have tried to make everything as free and accessible as possible, but we're trying to build classes and workshops and also trying to fund a big picture. So stay tuned. But also go down into our Patreon. We have really cool workshops. A bunch of practitioners. We're going to be connecting with resources. And if you want to come volunteer anytime or build out your practice or come teach or come do some autism
Yeah, come
dump of
teach with
whatever
us.
special topic you're obsessed with, come hang out with us. We host these whenever, and the platform's open. So yeah, come check us out. There's a bunch of different ways to sign up. There's women's groups and men's groups and all the in between, and a couple different like fun stuff coming up. And we are in a fundraiser stage. So that is why this is happening, because there's some cool stuff coming up. And if you want to stay up to date with an app that is being built in the background just for our community, that so we can keep us safe, you can keep up to date with the app on our platform under the Hero's Journey. So that will be a fun ride. So that's exciting. And then I can't remember what next month is on, but or what date we've even chosen,
I
but
think
we'll
it's
be
like
back
in
next month.
2 weeks. Yeah, I was gonna say. Well, I think it's actually because this is February. I think it's the
Mm.
20. I have my phone right here. I'm like looking at it, like, how am I gonna figure this out? It's the 27th, I believe.
27th?
Right? Does it start on
I
27th?
I don't know. I don't have it written down.
Did I just dream that in my head? It's quite possible.
No, I doesn't matter to me. That works for me. So the
So
next one,
yeah,
you
I think.
guys heard it. You heard it first
Yeah. Yeah.
in real time.
I swear I thought we said. Oh yeah, because I said the 27th. Is there any way we could push tonight? And you said we could move it. So it might have just been part of me pushing the one that we were doing, and it got lost in the communication. But I can
Yeah,
do the
no worries.
27th, or we could just move into April. Whatever.
Nope, we got it. We got it. It's perfect. Awesome. All right. Well, we will be back. Thank you, Elle. Thank you for everyone watching. And we hope to see you guys soon. And again, check out the Patreon, see all the fun things we have to offer. Check back often because it's changing quickly. And I hope
And we've been
everyone
doing
has a
this since 2023. So there's a lot of content on there if you want to just like nosedive into it before it leaves. There's so much content on there. So we used to do this weekly.
yeah, weekly.
Okay.
That's crazy.
I had a
That's
newborn
insane.
and we went live weekly. That was wild.
Wow. The dedication. I mean,
I'm
no
here
one
for
can
it.
say we didn't try.
No, 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 no. All right,
All
guys.
right, we will leave y'all. Have an amazing. Go look at the sky. The sky is doing really cool things, and also go check out our two latest drops, the Cosmic Intelligence briefing, where he's literally talking about the sky today for Friday the 13th, and then our new series with Taylor, Earth to Taylor, about the human energy field and biofield, and it's super exciting. So go check those out, and then we'll be back on April 1st for the full moon with Charlene. So thanks for everyone watching. Bye.
Bye. Stop.